Welcome to Get Paid for Your Pad, the definitive show on Airbnb hosting, featuring the best advice on how to maximize profits from your Airbnb listing, as well as real-life experiences from Airbnb hosts all over the world. Welcome. We are your hosts, Josefa Capadia and Jasper Rivers.
Get paid for your pad. 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 Get paid for your pad.
Welcome to episode 102 of Get Paid for Your Pad. Today I'm going to start off with a quick announcement. As you know, Hostfully is my sponsor for the podcast, and I'm happy to announce that I'm now an editor and contributor to Hostfully, which enables me to write about my passion for hosting, and also I'm going to write about travel. So it's kind of like part of my mission to make hosts and digital nomads' lives easier. So please go ahead and check out my stories at travel.hostfully.com. So with that, I'm now going to introduce the guests for today. I have two guests, Daniela and Luis, and they work for a new startup in the Airbnb space, which is called Payfully. So Luis and Daniela, welcome to the show.
Hi, hello, thank you for having us here.
Hey Jasper, nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining. It's so funny because like 2 years ago when I started this podcast, I couldn't find any sort of services that would help Airbnb hosts do a better job at hosting or make it more convenient. There was literally nothing out there. And since then, so many startups has popped up in the Airbnb space, and it gets so creative. And I think your company, Payfully, is an example of a service that's just so creative. I would have never thought that this would exist. And so I'm really excited to share with all the listeners what you guys do. So let me just leave it up to you to give an introduction about the company.
Sure. Daniela, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for your comments. Payfully is basically a very unique service for Airbnb hosts. We offer them the opportunity to get their payments in advance. That means, for example, let's say the host has a booking in September or October this year. They will normally have to wait weeks, months to get that payment till the guests arrive. What we offer to them is give them the payment right now. We usually take a small fee on exchange, and then when Airbnb pays them back in September, we get paid ourselves back. So pretty easy. They can do everything directly from our platform. And yes, that's basically what we offer to all the Airbnb hosts in US.
You guys are based in the US?
Yep, we're based in Brooklyn, New York, and that's where we are right now, actually. And we offer the service to nationwide. Okay,
so it's US only, right?
Yeah, for the time being, it's US only. Okay. We want to expand internationally, but just not yet.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, Airbnb must have a lot of cash because, all these bookings come in and the guest pays as soon as you book, and the host gets the money the day after the check-in. And obviously, I don't know what the average time between booking and check-in is. I don't know. Do you guys have any idea?
Yeah, it really varies by state or by country, but I think the overall average number is around 22 days.
So Airbnb is basically sitting on all the cash.
Yep.
I wonder what they do with it.
I think it works well for them because they have a lot of working capital that they could just use. So
yeah, and so I get questions from guests sometimes, and they ask me if they can pay later. Especially when they book a couple months in advance, they'll send me a message and they say, "Hey, I'd like to book your place, but is it okay if I pay like a deposit or pay like 20% or something upfront, and then I'll pay the rest like a week before check-in or something?" And obviously, as a host, I have no control over this, but I think it's really smart to step into that space and offer the solution, because I'm sure there's a lot of hosts who probably prefer to get the money immediately.
Yes, what we've seen is also like a lot of the hosts, they are actually guests in the same time. So some of them, like, they travel And I mean, obviously they need the money also at the time of someone books their place, so that they could also book some nights for them, or even flights or whatever they need for their trip. We've seen also a lot of the hosts need that money to do some maintenance. Last week we just had someone that needed to buy some new furniture, and they need the money right now before the guests arrive to the place, so that the place is good and they keep the good reviews.
Yeah, and one of the more interesting use cases that I hadn't even thought of when we started was there's a lot of places that have high seasonality. So like in the summer months they have a lot of bookings, but in the winter months they're pretty much they have nothing. They're dead. So they want to balance out their income throughout the year. And that's been one of the more surprising use cases that I had not foreseen at all. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that makes a little sense. And I think on your Airbnb listing, there's a place where you can see how much you earned, but also how many future expected earnings there are. For example, if I look at my listing right now, it says that I have 1,892 euros of expected earnings in July.
Nice, yeah. Good amount.
Yeah. That's and so this is what I'm going to be making in the next few weeks or something. But I think you can even see it for the whole year. You can see all the earnings that are expected.
You can actually see that in our dashboard. Like when the user connects to Payfully, we don't show them the previous listings, but we show all the money they have coming in the future.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, on the Airbnb website, you can also see it under account and then transaction history. There's a tab. There's 3 tabs: completed transactions, future transactions, and gross earnings.
Here it is.
Yeah. So I see I have 5,305 euros of future transactions. So these are bookings that have been made, but the guests have not stayed yet. So these are future bookings. And so if I were to use Payfully, you guys would basically give me the 5,000 euros.
Well, for the first-time users, we're not giving that amount, but the more people use us, the more credit we'll give them. So yeah, for the first time, we would only give you a fraction of that, but each time you use us, you'd be leveling up.
Okay, so you get like experience points, and then you go to new levels. Sounds kind of like World of Warcraft.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, because we don't do any credit check or anything like that, so we are basically. We trust the host, and we are based on their Airbnb profile. So
right, because there's some risks involved on your end. Because I'm just thinking, let's say I use Payfully, and you guys give me a bunch of money, and then I could just close my Airbnb account or something, start a new one, or do whatever. Because you guys obviously have a risk. You're paying out the money, and then your expectation is that the guest will actually stay and the booking won't get canceled. Yep. And the host will how does the host pay you guys back? Is that automatic, or how does that work?
Automatic. The way we do it is that we connect ourselves to the host bank account, and that way we send them money, and we stay connected to the bank account. And once Airbnb pays them, we pay ourselves back automatically. So yeah, what we're assuming pretty much on the credit risk is we're assuming that responsible people with their Airbnb listings are responsible people financially, and they'll pay us back. So yeah, we're just using the Airbnb review system and leveraging that to approve or deny transactions.
So if I sign up for Payfully and I get an Airbnb payment, one that you guys have paid me in the past, have fronted me, then my bank will automatically transfer the money to you guys as soon as Airbnb pays me. Do you guys have agreements with the banks on how to do this?
Well, no. Well, actually, we're connected to the user's bank account via a system called Played, and it's a third party company. It's pretty cool actually, and they're the ones that give us access to the bank account.
Okay, interesting.
And just for the host to be sure, I mean, we wait normally 24 hours because we know sometimes, even though Airbnb, let's say, if they process the payment today, it will probably arrive Monday or Tuesday next week. So we give them a couple of hours, at least 24 hours, just to make sure they already have the money in their account and we don't charge them before.
Okay, I see. And what happens if the guest cancels?
Well, if the guest cancels, we give them, we'll waive the fees and give them 30 days to pay us back, free of fees. So
okay, so you're relying on the host. You're trusting that the host will be honest, and if it's canceled, then you give them 30 days because they could get a new booking, and then you can just subtract the amount from the new booking.
Yeah, we also offer them that opportunity. So essentially we want to be on the side of the host. We don't want to be like a traditional financial institution. We just want to be like a cool tool that hosts can use to get their cash in advance. So we try to always position ourselves on the side of the host.
And for those who are listening and who want to try the service, like how can people sign up?
They could just go to www.payfully.co, and there they could just connect their account and check it out.
Is there a lot of work involved in the sign-up process, or how does it work?
Yeah, it's super easy. The way they do it, they get onto their website and they log in. For the time being, we're only accepting Gmail accounts or Google accounts, and they just press a button, connect their account, and that way they'll be presented with a personalized dashboard with all our listings and all our offers for that. Once they click the apply button, the first time that they connect, they'll have to connect their bank account with their normal bank login, and then sign what we call a factoring agreement. Once they do that, they could use us all they want for all their listings.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, for hosts that are listening right now, I mean, at the end, we'll give them a code so that they can use they can request the first payment totally for free. So so that they can try our service for free.
Awesome, that's really great. So, and how do the hosts take advantage of that?
They apply the coupon. We'll give them a special one. So once they confirm the payment they need, basically as soon as they type the code, the fee will become 0.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, the code is the initials of Get Paid for Your Pad.
So it's GPFYP.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So, well, thank you very much. That's really cool. So for those who want to give it a try, you can use the code, and it's the same code that you can use for other services that I've partnered with, just to keep it easy. And so we are going to do a quick shout out to the sponsor.
I've tried a couple digital guidebook tools these past months, and I've decided to use Hostfully. I use Hostfully to create an online and printable guidebook to show my guests my favorite coffee places in town and my listing information. My guests' feedback has been great. They've used my recommendations, and I'm getting fewer questions from my guests as a result. I've included screenshots of my guidebook on Airbnb as a way to differentiate my listing from others. So make your own guidebook at hostfully.com/pad.
So how did you guys come up with the idea to start this service in the first place?
Sure. So the idea was actually our other co-founder, Alberto. He used to work for a company. Well, he actually co-founded another company called Pixable, which was like one of the first photo sharing websites out there. And after Pixable got sold, and he went through several other companies, but one day he had that idea. And initially, it was just the idea was based on giving loans to Airbnb users, like whole loans for like apartment upgrades if they want to buy a new couch or a new sofa, so they could charge more money. But then we realized that he realized that the way to do it would be better, like on a booking like on a transactional basis. So he needed it was more or less a financial idea. He needed a finance co-founder, and I had known Alberto for many years past. And he came up to me. I was working in finance back then, and he's like, "Hey, Luis, I got this great idea, but I need a finance guy." So I quit my job and I joined him, and we've been working together ever since. And a couple of months ago, Daniela joined us, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so Alberto, the CEO, was he an Airbnb host himself?
Yep.
Okay, right, got it.
We also have another co-founder who recently joined the company called Simon. He has like an incredible background on product. He also developed like a lot of apps, so he's helping us right now a lot to improve the user experience and just the whole site and product in itself.
Mm-hmm. And when was the company founded?
So we were founded officially in January, and we went live around late May. So we've just been live for about almost 2 months now.
And how is it going so far?
Going really well. We're really surprised by the demand, and what's really surprising us is like the variety of people that are asking for advances. So I mean, you have like on the one end, like Bushwick loft art studios of like people essentially sharing almost like tents. And on the other hand, you have huge mansions in Miami that are just like beautiful properties, and for one reason or the other, they're all coming to us. So we're really pleased with the customer adoption we're seeing.
But it's very nice, and we're actually impressed that a lot of our existing users, like they come like week after week, and that's always, I mean, nice for us. Like as soon as they have a booking, now they think like, okay, Payfully, they go back to their dashboard and they request the next payment. So that's always like a good motivation for us to keep doing this.
Okay, so when I get a booking, does it mean that I have to manually request a payment from you guys, or does it go automatically?
No, you need to go into the website and just you press a button, and once you press the button, it's pretty automatic.
Okay, got it. Right.
Yeah. Because some people wouldn't like the advance for every single booking. So we give the user the option to decide whether they need it or not.
Okay. Got it. And what are some of the things that you guys are working on now, like some things that will be available in the future?
I mean, right now, we are just focusing like on trying to make the whole process, since the sign up and request, like just quicker and better as a user experience. I mean, as we said, like we started a couple of months ago. So we still need to work on that. And
we're also trying to get non-Google users, non-Gmail users, so that they can sign up on Google Mail, because I mean that's obviously a big piece of the pie. So we're working on getting that, and also offering the login option through Airbnb instead of only through email.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of improvements that you're going to be seeing us roll out through the site.
Does the service also work for people who are hosting on other platforms?
Not yet, but that's definitely in our roadmap. Like we want to offer the service to like other platforms, like
to other networks.
Yep.
I think you guys are pretty unique in this space. Are there any other companies that are offering similar services? I don't think there are. I haven't heard of any.
Yeah, no.
I mean, not for Airbnb. Like we've seen similar companies who are actually doing great as well, but they are more focused on drivers. On drivers like Uber or Lyft, and other like food delivery apps, services, but we haven't seen anything like specifically for Airbnb.
Mm-hmm. And have you guys hosted on Airbnb?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So you guys are both hosts. Are you using Payfully?
I have used Payfully myself once. It was more of a test.
Without fee. He didn't pay the fee.
Busted, but we both are hosts, and it's a great way to get some supplemental income on the side.
Mm-hmm. You guys both live in New York?
Yep.
Yes, we're both living in Williamsburg, where our office is.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 co-founders live in Brooklyn, and Simon lives in the city.
Okay, so your team consists of 4 people so far.
Yes, that's
right.
Yes,
I mean we have a small team of developers as well.
But they're not in New York.
They work remotely, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And I heard in New York, it's the regulations getting a little stricter around Airbnb. Does it affect you guys as a host?
Yeah, it hasn't affected us yet. But essentially, what's happening is that like the New York State Senate, there was a series of laws, but they had no penalty, and the New York State Senate passed a bill that saying that you'd be fined if you rent out your apartment for less than 30 days. However, the governor of the state, Andrew Cuomo, he hasn't signed the bill yet, and he's under a lot of pressure to either sign it or veto it on both sides. So, like the hotel lobby is really pressuring him to sign the bill, and all Airbnb hosts are pressuring him to veto it. So it's still up in the air what's going to happen. But there is a couple of ways that are still completely legal to do it, to do Airbnb. First of all, if you have like a big apartment and with several rooms, you can use Airbnb to rent out those rooms as long as the owner of the apartment is like sleeping there in another room. And another way is like if what you call a single family dwelling, a private family dwelling. That's a building with 2 apartments or less. You can rent out you can rent that out for less than 30 days without a problem. The real issue comes with big apartment buildings. If you rent out the whole place for less than 30 days, that's what seems to be under pressure right now. But
yeah, and that's kind of the case in a lot of places around the world. I was just in Santa Monica a few weeks ago, where they have similar regulation in place.
Yeah, they're going through a lot of issues right now too. Santa Monica, I've been hearing about that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually there was the first person to ever be convicted for Airbnb hosting. It's actually somebody who's been on my podcast as well.
Oh no way!
So I think he's moving to a different city now. But yeah, still, what do you guys think of the future of Airbnb?
I think it's a bright future. I mean, and one of the things that most has impressed me, you hinted upon it at the beginning, but since we started Payfully, is how vibrant the ecosystem is, both on the side of hosts and entrepreneurs building services around it, and it really feels like a cool community to be part of, and just by like how enthusiastic people are, I'm sure there's a great bright future ahead for it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Is there anything else that you guys want to share about Payfully? Something that the listeners should know?
Just to all listeners, remember that you could get your first advance for free if you use that coupon code once you sign up. It's www.payfully.co, and the coupon code is
GPYFP.
Yes.
Get paid for your pet. All right, great. So everybody go ahead and go to payfully.co. Use the code and you'll be able to try it for free. What are the fees like after that?
Well, it depends on the length of the listing. For example, if it's like for a $175 booking, we'll charge $595, and that's for something that's like 2 weeks out. So the longer the time frame, obviously, the higher the fee.
Okay, so the fee depends on the amount of the booking, and it depends on the amount of time left until check-in?
Yeah, it's the amount of time. Yeah.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yep. And now we're only going 3 months out into the future. That's far, but with time, we want to expand that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Well, congratulations on this company. It's really cool. I think it's a really cool service, and I'm sure a lot of hosts will be interested in using it. And thanks for sharing this with all the listeners.
Hey, Jasper, thanks for having us. This has been great, and congratulations on what you're doing. I mean, you definitely seem to have one of the most vibrant sites for hosts out there. So congratulations, man.
Thank you very much. And I'm very excited to be over 100 episodes now. I'm looking forward to all the future episodes and really having a good time doing this podcast. So yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. And thanks for listening, everybody. And next week, of course, there will be the next episode. So we'll see you then.
Get paid for your pet. Get paid for your pet.